Oh, bad. I'm gonna just dive in front of you and make sure you crash too. Dear God, hit my stick. Pull your leg.
You would.
I'll be ready. I'm not prepared.
I love this song.
I am prepared. Another 20.
We open in the rain. Dirt beneath your fingernails. Rillirn, you scrape at the hard earth, pawing at it, tearing at it, again and again, throwing handfuls aside as the hole grows deeper and deeper. You can't bear to look over your shoulder, where you know the presence of the corpse of Jezebel lies at your feet. The little girl, a hole bored through her chest. You still smell the singe of flesh and the rolling smoke that comes from the windmill still ablaze in the rain. You paw at that earth, scraping. Eventually you think the hole might be deep enough to describe what you do.
I'd like to try to lift your body up and set it down as nicely as I can.
You go resting her small corpse inside that soft earth, and there her white face is marred with a casting of black soil. You stare down at her in that earth. What do you do?
I'm just gonna stand there staring at it.
You watch, hoping maybe that her eyes would open, but the life has gone out of her. She's nothing but a shell now. A little girl, someone's child. Just beyond the hill, Anna and Amadeus stand there watching the windmill. Timbers creak and careen, tumble, and ashes rise up pluming, sparks flying till they're pelted down by the rain. Describe what you're doing.
Just watching
There, side by side, for the first time in what feels like a lifetime, and yet it's only been really a little over a month. You stare, watching as that windmill falls into a heap of nothing. And you smell the sweet, sickening smell of food, pies burning, the aroma cherry fills the air, and food that would make you sick, Anna. You find it so revolting, and at the same time, there is something about it that lights your brain on fire. Something in you almost seems to awaken at it. You think back onto the memories of Sasha. That used to be your mill, in Thorn's mill. You think of the horrors that might have happened there after you left him. And you think again now about the children that had died there. The children that were ground up and made into pies. The pies you ate. For the first time, you are beginning to have doubts about some of your choices. Amadeus, as you stand there watching that windmill burn, you think now of the life that you've built and how it too seems to be falling apart, splintering to ash. You don't have much left. And you're afraid that soon, all too, that will be left of your life is a heap of ash. You stand there in the rain until the fire ceases to burn. Embers are light in the rubble. And Rillirn, you push that soft earth over the last remains of Jezebel. Go ahead and describe what you do.
I'll probably be pushing like the last little bit over her face, then kind of finishing it off. And after I do that, I'm just gonna fall to my knees and start weeping.
You do. Your hands stained with the earth. As you pull them up to your face, you fall into despair. Anna, as that smell of pie lingers in the air, you nearly feel yourself drifting as if into a dream. You remember that knock at that door, you opening that door and seeing Strahd again and again, night after night, weeks your husband spent at the mill, and Strahd was there again and again, and each time a knock and a door opening. These memories flash until one time the knock comes and the door opens, and he's the one who opens it. It isn't your house anymore, but the front entrance to Castle Ravenloft. As you now step inside and he welcomes you into his house. Your life together seems to flash in seconds, over and over and over again. And you begin to hear this rumbling, sickening laughter at the back of it all. As you watch this, not from the perspective of Sasha, but from the perspective of Anna, knowing all that has happened. That sickening laughter roils up, a deep, dark voice, one unrecognizable. You're a plaything to it. Amadeus, as your sister continues to stare into the windmill, what do you do?
Do I notice her dozing off?
You see her eyes as they seem to drift closed again and again. Each time she blinks, it takes a second longer for her to open them.
I'm just gonna tap her shoulder.
just flutter until they wake and turn to you, the visions waning.
Are you okay? You seem like you were dozing off there. What was happening?
Visions.
Past lives?
Yeah. But yeah, they were Sasha's. I don't know. Can't make any sense of them.
You've never told me about your past lives here. I guess I've never really asked that.
Are you
I am asking.
asking? Why?
I'm just curious.
These lives, they flow and come and go. They all end tragically.
How many?
Would I remember a number?
You don't know. You feel like there's so much more that you've yet to see as they come in waves slowly.
I don't know. They come and go, and it seems like there's a lot I don't know. But it's
All in death.
all of them in tragedy and in murder and turmoil and screams. They all end in some form of tragic death. This was just another piece to this big puzzle that I'm trying to find out. I know who I am. It just there is some things I just have so many questions every time. So they come and they go in the most random places. They're terrifying. I mean, don't know why you're asking.
I just find it odd that they all end in death.
I don't know. It seems there's a bigger like thing at work, and that's what's happening. Every life, it seems, I find Strahd eventually, and when that happens, I die, and it just keeps repeating over and over. Except for Sasha's life. That was the only one that was different than the rest. I don't know why they all end that way. It's been on the back of my mind. I feel like it just is coming closer to me, even now. It could be days away from death, I guess. But I guess I've already found it. Death has already come to my door.
I guess I'm just curious because you've already died once, and I don't want to see it happen again.
Amadeus, you don't care. You've made that perfectly clear about my life. You've
Anna, I'm sorry, but I let you die. I should have been a better protector the first time around. I didn't. And I take full responsibility for that. Dad taught me better to ever let you go alone. And that's my fault.
It's not your fault that I died.
It is. I've seen that I've let a lot of people die.
It wasn't your fault. It was my own choice to go, and this is now my life, I guess. But you don't have to feel sorry. I have never not cared about you as my brother, and I just don't know what to say. I guess it just, our lives don't seem to align. I know you don't approve of who I am, and that
It's not true. I tried helping as much as I can when
Barely. You
But
didn't
I tried.
understand. You didn't try to.
I
You
did.
thought of me as an animal. I know
No,
it.
I
The
hunted
look-
for you to help feed you. I tried.
The look
I
you
did.
gave me, Amadeus. It was your eyes, as your posture, the way.
No.
You didn't
It's who
need to
you're
say.
with, Hannah. It's not who you are. It's the actions you've taken. It's Strahd. I don't like him. I've never liked him. Just like I didn't like the last person.
Damien.
You seem to have a bad choice in men.
Well, this seems to be. Just feels a little bit normal. Does it not?
A little bit. Always felt the responsibility to protect you. Father taught me to do that. That's why I always tried so hard.
But what about now?
Because you're
What about-
always my little sister.
Do you even view me that way? You don't.
I do. Sometimes. Sometimes I see it, sometimes I don't. It's hard to view you, though, when you're with a guy who has killed so much.
I still have questions, I know. There's a part of him that I've seen in other lives. And that's still in him, I know. But I know he does things, but I do as well.
How much do you know, though?
I know a lot. There's just pieces I still don't have, but that isn't to say this is what I want. It is what I feel that I want. And I just want you to be there for me.
I know a bad man when I see one. He's very manipulative. He can persuade a lot of people, but it's always by the actions that you take.
And what if he
Makes
lets
who
you
you
leave?
I don't think he seems to care about me now that he has his whatever he wants.
What if I ask him, would you leave?
I don't know.
If I made the deal
I don't know. I don't.
for you and Lenore,
There's no deal to be made.
for me, this is my deal that I would make.
What deal would that be? What would you give him? You always
Not
want
if-
something.
It's different.
No, it's not.
What if I asked? This is something that I think I could get you, but would you go? Your life here does not seem, you don't seem happy, and I want you to be happy.
I
Amadeus.
was happy. I was getting there. And then he took that away.
But would you ever have been truly happy in a place like this with someone like that? I don't think you would have. I think you would have
If I
always
didn't-
been looking over your shoulder and always been worried.
No. Maybe I can't make that decision right now. Lenore has to be on the same page.
Something to think about. I care about you both, and I'm sorry I've not shown that more. I do. I am a vampire.
I hadn't noticed.
Amadeus. I'm just stating the obvious as in, this is who I am, and it does not align with who you are, and that's the part that hurts the most, is that who I am you cannot accept. And all I want is your support. I didn't choose this.
I know. I told you. I know you didn't choose it.
It's just who I am now. There's no other way I can change it.
I'm aware of that.
But I'm still me. And you're still my brother. I have a whole life with you. And Father, I still have that piece in me too.
We should get going soon. I'm tired of staring at this window.
It smells awful. There were children in that pie, Amadeus.
I You saved a lot of people. And that's what matters.
Yes.
There's no more pies you can swallow anymore.
At least she's gone. I'll go get Rillirn. I'm gonna turn around and walk to where Rillirn is.
You do that. What does she see? When you're ready.
I'm just kneeled down at the grave. Haven't really pushed it over.
I'm gonna put my arm on his shoulder, just like you did to me when I was crying over Irene. I still remember. I'm on his shoulder. I'm standing.
Can't believe it happened.
I know. I'm sorry. There's nothing you could have done. This is Lincoln.
I could have.
No. Don't beat yourself up. You do this.
I could have been there. I could have held on to Clinton longer.
Rillirn.
I could have moved in front of it.
No.
God, I stopped time the other day and I can't stop it. One simple spell.
You cannot control other people's decisions. This was Glenfinn's. It was a terrible decision. But there's nothing we can do except for grieve in this process. It's okay to grieve, but it is not okay to blame yourself. You will get yourself nowhere that way. But for now, let's just be sad. That's okay.
Let's just go.
I'm gonna wrap my arm around him and then like kind of pull him up a little bit. We all
Amadeus,
back
where-
on our own.
Where are you?
Staring at the windmill still, apparently. I'm gonna walk over.
Yeah, you see him kind of coming through the grass. She pulls you to your feet, and you assume you begin to walk back towards the road, which is towards the windmill.
I'll say before we walk away, I'll say, Jezebel, I'm sorry. Rillirn cared about you and you were just but a child. Definitely not shown the kindness of this world at all. But we won't forget you.
I'm gonna kneel down closer to it again. Just kind of whisper. I'd like to whisper to it where she wouldn't hear it then.
Okay, inspiration point for your fake crime, by the way.
Thanks.
It's partially real, so.
Yeah, you gotta
I
get in
was
character.
like-
I almost cried when you were talking to me.
I was wanting to clap the whole time when you were doing this,
Which one?
Okay,
So,
just back up.
alright.
So you kneel down to the grave.
I almost cried when you were talking to me.
And I'll whisper,
I tried.
I'll be back. And I'll make this right. And then I'll get up and turn around and walk back towards the windmill.
You do.
Is there snow nearby? Rock.
You see off in the distance, actually, from here, near the tree line, the stones of the monolith where you saw Morgantha the first time, holding Linfinn's child.
Gotcha. If there's a little rocks, we can grab one. Stuff it over the grave.
Okay. Yeah, you look around,
That'd be better.
you pick one up.
Throw it over my shoulder.
Yeah.
You actually-
Freezing cool.
Okay. As you come back up from stooping to pick up that rock, you hear the faintest flapping of wings. And you look up. The mist, a haze mixed with fog and smoke from the windmill, and yet a shadow comes dropping lower and lower. A raven, your raven, Stefan. Last time you saw him, he returned to you briefly with an invitation to Castle Ravenloft before heading west, as you assume, to Kresk, carrying other letters. He lands there at your feet, looking up to you. He bats his wings, looking worse for the wear.
I guess I'll hold my arm up.
You do, and he, the swoop, a few feathers fall as they lands right there on your arm. The whole thing sort of lopsided and caws.
Thought I looked bad.
He looks at you and cocks his head off to the side, looking you up and down as if to say, you do.
Just gonna sit up on my shoulder.
He goes and rests there. You feel his wings, the warmth of his body close to you as he seems to settle in. You begin to walk. As you walk up over that hill back to the road and slowly wind your way down, you find yourself once again at the tree line. You've walked past the cart, Rictavio's, Van Richten's wagon, a horse dead, the cart off its axle and partially destroyed. Wherever the child was that was crying there, they're gone now. No semblance of life left in this area as that smoke, sickening sweet, sweeps over the land in this faint gust of wind, and the rain continues to pour. You're now soaked through, your clothes completely drenched.
Are we still at the,
Yeah, let's say you're walking, you're passing the windmill, going down that road towards the tree line. And eventually, as you walk then to that tree line, you recognize it's later in the day. If you were to walk, you'd be walking into the night in the Svalage Woods.
Not with your help once.
I wouldn't do it regardless.
No, I would.
What do you do?
Can you fly back on the horse with him?
Not with Rillirn on me. On the horse, you would not let him. Besides, I think it would burn him.
Maybe it's worth it.
You can find something here if you need.
I have no way to get back except for walking.
I'm gonna heal by the way.
Okay. Describe how that looks.
I'm just gonna go up to him, just put my hands on his shoulders.
You feel this rush of
Yeah.
energy
9.
pour back into you.
Ooh, nice. 16.
It's 19.
Do you not have any spell slots left?
I have a second level spell.
Oh, is that not high enough?
For you to fly?
I need a 3.
Oh,
I need a
DM will let
third
us
level
fly
to
this
do
one
that.
time. Yes.
you use your inspiration point if you'd like.
I will.
Okay.
Alright. I do have a way back then. I can make it back.
Alright. I guess we meet back in Voloki. Unless, I mean, is that where you guys are headed?
That's where I'm going.
I'm not going to go anywhere else in this
You need a
state.
place to stay.
Is there even? You were talking about moving.
I don't know. We still have to talk about it, but for now. Unless you want to stay in that place that person died, but imagine you don't.
describe how each of you will start with Rillirn, how you go back to Alaki.
I want to hear how you should.
Alright.
Because we're all bosses now.
So I'm gonna cast Perpetual Motion on myself.
How does that look?
So, yeah, I kind of start vibrating, just like the Flash. And I just start running back to Valaki. It'll be slower for me, but it'll look like I'm going quick.
So, for Rillirn, his body, energy almost seems to form around it. The air sort of ripples and moves. Every single movement for him, as though it takes little to no effort, is done so quickly. If you blink, you miss it. And suddenly when he's there, the next moment, there's only a ripple of light. And you think you see his silhouette down the road, but as soon as you blink again, he's standing still, and yet he's gone now. Amadeus.
I'm gonna turn to Raven, and I'm just gonna look at Stefan and just kind of tell him to follow me.
As soon as you begin to form, Stefan takes flight, and the two of you on a pair of black wings soar off through the trees, gaining altitude slowly until you drift into the embankment cloud of smoke and fog and rise through it. As you see them trailing off, what do you do?
I'm gonna look back at the window for a little bit and then call out Bucephalus.
You do that. And an obsidian horse.
You're smiling.
Oh, I forgot you ordered that.
Yeah,
For that.
I finally got it. And I had to fix
Yes,
it.
dude.
Yeah. You hold that small obsidian horse in your hand as you call his name, almost a whisper, and a rush of heat suddenly explodes violently from your hand, molts and forms, dripping in pools of tar until it forms that horse. Searing flames come pouncing from it. And there, with a snort, a large creature stands there at your side. His head, great, turns, looks at you, his eyes aglow, recognizes your presence, and with a shuddering, a deep bass sound coming from the furnace within it, he clambers its hoofs, striking sparks, and you run your hand down his back before mounting him. As you mount the horse, he begins slowly picking up the pace as he rides them down that road, faster and faster. Sparks of light come flying past you, and you feel that heat, the warmth almost of a summer day. And then again, you think it just might be summer. The trees look different now. There's flowers growing alongside the road. And the sun shines high above you, and yet something that you thought you might have an intense fear of, all you feel is warmth. And not that of just the sun, but of a presence behind you. You look down to yourself and see, in fact, you're no longer riding a black steed, but a white horse. Its mane blonde, as with every step, it undulates in the breeze of a summer's day. You feel those hands wrapped around you, and you no longer hold the reins. But a man does. His arms there, you feel his presence. You continue to ride faster and faster through these woods. You know him. You've known him for some time. rest of the life you might have spent together, you know this is a vision from a past life when you've lived to the fullest. You don't know who this was, but for that brief moment of panic distress, you suddenly find the calm in it and begin to relax and just enjoying the memory as the rest of your worries begin to slip away, and you feel it, something you don't know you've felt before, yet you're sure you have, but not like this. Love. Something so absent in Barovia. And there before you, suddenly the clouds have rolled in. It's night, and the faint orange glow of the town of Valaki comes from over the spiked palisade. And there you see, waiting for you just outside the gate, now in his human form, Amadeus, a raven perched on his shoulder. Rillirn, did you wait outside or did you just go in?
I went in. I just went straight to the house.
You are now riding Eucephalus, and it's much different a creature than the one you were riding before. One of flesh and blood, and this one here, the heat of a blast furnace beneath you. Malevolence, you feel it rising from the beast, and yet it calls you friend as you, I assume, dismount just outside the city. The two of you are together now. What do you do?
Just walk in in case that closes.
No, it's not.
Walk in. Obviously, he changed. Bucephalus?
Did you change your mind? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if he should that.
Yeah. So you raise your hand up to him. How would you
Yeah.
like to call him back to you?
I always want to bow before,
Okay.
and then just do this.
So you bow and open your hand. He almost seems to leap like a spark from a fire, a large one, an ember as it flies through the air, one that might burn you, and you think it does, until it touches your hand and instantly turns cold rock obsidian. You pocket that horse and walk inside. The town actually is still awake. You figure you're maybe 2 hours past sundown, and there's still people walking around the streets. Where do you go?
Straight to the house.
The two of you together, you walk along those roads, passing by the orphanage, silent. You turn onto your street, past the busy Blue Water Inn. You hear it as you come down that street, loud voices, cheering, music. But you turn towards your house, and you make your way there. Rillirn, what are you doing inside the house?
I'd actually like to knock on the door first before I just go in.
Okay. You do that. No real answer comes. But then you step inside and see the house is apparently empty. Things look packed up. Dishes sit all clean on the counters there. You look and you can see in through the bedroom door, the bed sheets have been folded and lay there at the foot of the bed.
Is the door fully closed though, or partially?
That one was open.
I'd like to go check in the back room of the other bedroom.
You do that. You look in there. You see any books that were on the bookshelf removed. The same thing. The bed that was in there folded. Go ahead and roll for perception.
We got today, Blake.
9.
9.
That's right.
With a 9, your mind is focused only on one thing: despair and distress. The one thing you can think to distract yourself is that how you've always distracted yourself, your books. So you see them sitting there on the table.
Are they upstairs?
No, someone's brought them down.
Who's touching my books?
His wife. I was using him as a squatty potty.
They're books.
That's perfect.
You see, amongst other things that have been packed up from around the house, they lie in a neat pile, absent of the one that you were carrying. You feel it then at your side. And as you look down, you see there the octopus, one you've forgotten. It still moves, sloshing back and forth in its little globe.
I'd like to grab all the books and go back upstairs with them.
You do that. You also see candelabra if you'd like to take that.
I will take that as well.
So you grab the books, stuff them under your arm, you take that, and you go upstairs. And then sitting at the desk, the chair, you have to take it off the tabletop and set it then on the floor with a loud thud. And the boards creak as you sit yourself down in that chair, lighting the candles.
I'd like to open up the book I was working on the way there. Then I'm gonna open it up and set each one of my set pocket watches around it. And then I'm gonna pick one up and change the time to Jezebel's death.
Okay. You do that, each of these clocks ticking away, tick, 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 all in time, different time. You set that last one, and there, one more thing, the octopus. You always take him off your side and you set him up on the table. You do that, the thing heavy almost starts to roll off the table. What do you do?
I'd like to try to put it in between two books that I have to try to keep it stable.
You do that, sort of pinning it there, putting the books in a V shape so it's nestled. And the octopus, once very animated, doesn't seem to recognize you no more than any other animal might.
I need to be better. I have to do this. To do these things. So this doesn't happen again. So Gyra doesn't happen again. I get that, but that's what I have to do. I'm gonna start reading the book.
As you go and you sit down reading through that book, you're focused on this spell, the irony of it all. These black tentacles, as it describes. One might be able to summon them so they would capture your foes, holding them so that you might beat them to death. All very macabre. And yet, as you read, you're trying to understand. You're focused so intently until you see the faintest bit of movement out of the corner of your eye. That octopus is turned away from the corner of the room, and with its slanted hourglass eyes, it eyes you, watching in some remembrance. Just watching.
I'm just gonna keep on studying. I'm gonna read up on it.
You continue to read as the door downstairs opens. You hear this loud as the door scuffs. Amadeus, You walk inside, and shortly behind you, Anna, you come in. For some moment there, you hesitate at the door.
I'm not gonna go in.
You
Did you
notice
say
this.
that out loud?
No.
Oh, okay.
You notice this, but it's so subtle as you're looking for Lenore. You look around the room there.
Just call her name out. Lenore.
There's
Oh.
no answer, but you do hear the turning of pages come from upstairs.
See, Lenor's already here. Okay. Come in.
I stepped out.
Oh, is the door closed?
Yeah.
Well,
You see she's no longer in the doorway. Is the door closed?
I don't know. I never closed it.
I
No,
didn't
so it's
close
open.
it.
Yeah, it's an open doorway.
Exactly. You dork.
Listen. I'm gone.
What?
I'm gone.
You left.
No, yeah, I stepped out. I'm just outside the house. I didn't
Okay.
like just outside the house.
You go ahead and tell me what you're doing inside the house.
Just looking around. You know, obviously, Lenore's not here.
And
so.
you see everything packed up, and it frightens you almost. But you think she wouldn't have gone through all the trouble packing things up if she'd left already. She wouldn't leave.
I'm probably gonna go to the inn.
Okay. As you go and you look about that room there first, you actually see something there on the table amidst a vast array of things. Candlesticks, dishes, tools, a small piece of paper folded.
Go up to the note. Spicy.
Yeah, you need to get there.
You grab that note, you open it,
Oh no.
and you see in handwriting you don't recognize. It's written hastily. Amadeus. It's addressed. This place is evil. Your friend, your sister has swallowed them up. You were wise to abandon them. If you care about your family, you will do whatever it takes to leave. Find Casimir at the Vistani camp. A long farewell, Glinfin, the Magnificent.
Sorry, what was the name of that?
Casimir.
Yeah,
Casimir.
I gotta find Casimir.
So you hold that note in your hands. Describe what you do.
Fold it and put it in my pocket.
You do that, and you hear again the folding of pages upstairs, the scraping of parchment paper.
We go upstairs real quick.
You do, and you see back turned to you.
Do I hear him come up?
You do.
What?
Do you need anything to eat? You can always grab something from the inn if you need it.
I'll be okay. Thank you.
I'll leave you to what you're doing. I have to go find Lenore. Doesn't seem to be here.
Good luck.
I'm gonna go up to her now.
Anna, what are you doing in the meantime?
I was just gonna sit on stairs.
As you're sitting there, you hear the faint scuffling of feet, and you hear them come closer and closer. It brings back a vivid memory. Your husband chasing you as you left, closing that door behind you, slamming it behind you, the pounding of his footsteps coming closer and closer, and Amadeus.
I think
Steps
I
out
let
of the
go of
house.
that.
You see her sitting there. She stands quickly.
What are you doing? You can go inside.
I thought you were someone else?
Still me.
Just sitting here. Don't worry. Thank you for inviting me in.
Oh, feel free. I don't seem to. Nora's not here, so I need to go find her. Assuming she's at the end, I hope.
Alright.
She's already packed everything up.
To move.
Supposedly.
Where?
No idea. Didn't really get to talk to her very much before I left. So we'll go find out.
Alright. I'll be here.
On the stairs or inside?
Just roll my eyes.
Okay, you walk down the street, leaving her there on the steps. And eventually, the sound of music playing becomes louder. Voices. She then come to that heavy oak door, iron bound. You don't even have to open it as someone comes bursting out there laughing. Oh, he goes and sloshes a drink back to his side. Another man comes following him out and he's like, oh, come on. It's very busy inside. People chattering. And you see there behind the bar, Lenore and Danica, both working.
I'm gonna go up to the front of the bar.
And you have to kind of come up as another man is right there about to order a drink. He goes, "Oi."
No, go right ahead.
Sorry, sir, I didn't recognize you. You actually recognize him, he's part of the guard.
God, that guy.
There's so many bad guys. How do you know it's that guy?
That was the one who didn't like me the first
Oh,
time.
yeah.
You know who it is.
Oh, I thought you were saying this the guy that like fell asleep or something.
But as you step back, rugged and bloodied from your fight, you look across the bar and Lenore drops a glass as it shatters there. And you scared me.
Sorry, you were at the house.
Are you alright? What happened?
Doesn't matter. I'm still alive.
Need a drink?
I think I'm okay.
She goes and hands you one anyways.
Yeah.
She goes back and she serves another man this food. What happened?
Can we talk somewhere else?
Danica, help me a moment. She looks up. Take all the time. She goes and continues to serve. She says, Bray! Bray, I need that now! You see a little boy come out with a dish of food. Hey, Mom. So, Lenore comes out around the bar, pulls you off to the side, goes, excuse me, passes someone by and then sits down in a booth. Tell me what happened.
Well, the hags are no more. There should be no more others being sold here.
That's good. Is everyone else okay?
Yes. Glenfin ran off, though, after he killed the kid.
Child?
He was emotionally distraught. A lot of stuff on that. Not much we can do about it now.
Danica looks like she's finding her feet.
It's fine. It's good to see this place lively again.
At that moment, you see actually someone stands up on the table, a rather burly man. His clothes finer than some of the others, a little bit bolder choice, not that dingy browns and grays maybe hunters wear, but he seems to be wearing kind of the faded purple. It's been stitched a couple times. His robe behind him still black, but a nice velvet. You can tell he has wealth about him as he stands there up onto a chair, teetering a moment. Oi! Ladies, gentlemen, I have an announcement to make. It's come to my attention that this Baroness, Lady Voctor, is once again planning a festival. You hear these kind of cheers around. Festival, yeah. That's what I thought. Now, the likes of me and my kind, we say no to such festivities. It can only mean bad things coming to this town. Ushering in. Hi, music off! Music off! Now, I'm sure you've noticed the taxes have increased. You hear again this sort of, Cheers. He's clearly drunk. His words slurred. He's out of breath as he's standing there. But at the same time, he has the compliance of the crowd. Not sure how many of them are plants and how many of them are truly enthused about this. But he seems to be gaining the crowd's attention as they sort of mutter amongst themselves. Yeah, he's right. Taxes. He sort of continues to talk. He looks down and addresses one man there. How do you like having to pay back taxes for the last year? No? All paying for this festivity, no doubt. Sure, she says it's not mandatory, but have you seen what they're doing employing half the town? And how is she employing them? With our money, that's how. He continues to talk as someone playing the piano continues.
Yeah.
But those around him begin to gather and continue to talk. You hear it all amongst each other. He's been at that night and again. He does bring in the crowds though.
You need me to take care of him?
Like I said, he brings in much more money than he's taking from us if anyone is to get in trouble.
Where are we moving? I see you packed everything up. We didn't really get to talk.
I don't know. Out of town? Out of the mist?
How are we supposed to get out of
She would be the one to tell me that.
Actually, I'm gonna slide her the note.
What's that?
We left it at our house.
The wizard?
Yes.
She opens it up and reads that note. You see her lips as they travel along it. Abandon your friends. If you care for your family, you will. To leave. You think this Casimir knows how to leave?
Couldn't hurt to try. At least I don't think it will.
The Vistani camp. The Vistani are friends of Strahd.
I understand that.
Many of them his agents.
I don't know exactly which Vistani camp he's at. I can always ask my sister.
I never thought about leaving before. Before now. It was always family. It was just Danica and you.
It'll be much safer than it is here.
I want to go. There's nothing left for us here but death. I don't want you to forget what I said the night before, the prophecy.
Didn't forget.
It says you will die. maybe we can leave this place, maybe not. I don't know.
It's worth trying. I can go find him. You can continue helping your Tanica. I'm just gonna rest for the night.
I'll be home soon.
Rillirn's upstairs. And Natalie is there as well.
Okay.
Just giving you a heads up.
Will you walk me?
Of course.
The night carries on. Anna, what are you doing? You sit there for some time. The night seems to carry on. You look down at that small figurine in your pocket. As you put it away again, you look down at the necklace about your shoulders. And you hear something. The clip-clopping of hoofs coming up the road. You hear them. Faint. But as you see, there's still people in the streets. More than you thought there would be. And those that would go up into their homes, some of them come pouring out as they go and look down the road, watching, looking for something. As they stand there in the night, almost lined up for a parade. You can't hear them. They seem to whisper to each other. It's silent except for that clip-clop of hoofs. And suddenly you see it far off down the road. A rider on a white horse. You watch as he's gilded in magnificent armor, gold, a prince, as he comes riding down that street. People clap, and you can't hear it. He has at his side, instead of a shield, a bushel of wildflowers. As he picks them and hands them, throwing them from his horse to people, he smiles. A smile that you know, a smile you remember. That warmth, that kindness, your heart leaps for it. As he's no longer down the road, but he's there just before you, so tall, sitting upon that horse. As he looks at you, his face stops a moment. As he goes looking through the flowers for finding just the right one. He stoops from his horse. Now on his feet, he still looks down at you, but he offers you a flower with a smile. And suddenly, much louder footsteps come from behind you, and you hear them. Your senses all heightened as if you'd been mute, and the world rushes past you again. You hear, coming down the road, Amadeus, the night is late. Lenore at his shoulder. See walks her lovers. That hope, that love torn from you, and yet you see it. It almost taunts you. As he comes walking down the street towards you, and you haven't moved since he left, but it's been hours. You see her sitting there.
Well, are you gonna go inside or not? Because I'm gonna lock the door as soon as I go in. So if you want a place to stay tonight,
You feel a nudge at your arm. Be nice.
my sister, I can be as mean as I want.
She offers you a hand with her one good hand. You take it.
Yeah.
She raises you up to your feet. She has to brace herself. She nudges past him, kind of his shoulder in a playful way. But she ushers you inside, please.
Go on.
She turns around. You were talking and joking to each other, a moment of brief levity just moments before she invites your sister in, and then closes the door behind her right in front of you. You're outside now.
Do I still have my keys?
You go searching through your pockets, and you hear that click as the door locks.
I laugh.
Lenore, I was joking.
You do that?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Inside, you see her face. It goes from you, and she doesn't seem to linger, focus on your relationship, but her face just goes down, still smitten with him. She just kind of laughs to herself as that pounding comes. She kind of like startled at the door and goes, and she gives you kind of a glance. You can decide if he comes in tonight. And she goes back to her room.
I'll fly in. It doesn't matter. I'll find my way in.
You say that out?
Yeah.
Yeah, she can hear you. She starts laughing to herself. She comes back out to the door. That room there can be yours tonight.
Thank you.
You're going to have to!
Is there any crevices I can?
Not on this floor. No.
I'm walking around the house.
Yeah, you walk around the house and you see that window. It's barely open. It's something you think she might have even done in habit. As if she had forgotten her key, she could always get inside. But you fly up to that window and Rillirn, you're sitting there
That's amazing.
reading your book,
I love that.
Frustrated from all this noise.
frustrated from all the noise. And frustrated that it's taking you so long to figure this out. It's been hours. As you're slowly making your way through it, you think how distracted you must be from all this going on. But surely you'll be able to understand this. You have to impress him. How else will you learn? How else will you grow? What do you do as you sit there at that table moments before the raven comes?
I'm just trying to like tune it out, just like hands over my ears, kind of just trying to purely focus on the book.
Okay. Yeah, how do you enter that room?
Bolting through.
Yeah, you hear this flapping of wings as they kind of hit the shutters there with a loud smack. Yeah, and the raven flies into the room.
And then I'm turning back into a human.
Right.
Sorry for that.
Amadeus.
They locked me out. I had no other way in. I apologize. I know you want quiet.
Fine, whatever.
Just anyway, gonna walk out.
Yeah, you do that, and downstairs you actually see Lenore coming with bed sheets. She pauses. Anna, did you go inside your room? No, you stay out there. Okay, she goes and hands you some sheets before walking up the stairs, and she looks up to you. She doesn't say anything. She just kind of walks up the stairs past you. As she does, she sort of hip checks you into the railing.
Dang.
I love it.
She smiles back over her shoulder. You can hear her just kind of chuckling to herself as she comes up with the sheets. Rillirn,
Yes.
you can lay these out up here if you'd like.
Thank you.
She goes and she sort of Sets them down on another chair in the corner. She looks over at you and what you're reading. Pausing there for a moment, you notice her linger. She looks
Yeah.
at you.
Would you like to learn as well? Can't figure it out.
Not much for reading. Thank you. You notice something about her demeanor shift. She senses danger, and you can tell that as her disposition quiets.
Is there something wrong?
No, nothing's wrong. Sleep well. You look like you could use it.
Thanks.
She pauses there at the top of the steps. And I'm sorry about what happened. Amadeus told me, and it isn't hard losing. It is difficult losing someone. Good night. She comes back downstairs.
I'm still there.
What? Yeah. What are you
No,
doing?
I'm still there. I'm gonna grab her by the legs and pull her.
Okay.
over my shoulder.
She starts laughing hysterically.
Throw her off.
As you carry her down those steps there. Anna, what are you doing while this happens?
I'm just watching and just laughing to myself, and then I go into the room.
Okay. Yeah, you're watching as you see them head off back towards the bedrooms. That door slams, and you're left there alone. You hear the turning of pages upstairs, but
And the grumblings of
The
the
grumbling.
boys.
But your eyes, your heart, at the moment of levity, still beats quickly. Your face upturned in a smile as your gaze drifts to the floor and darkens at the bloodstains still there. You take your sheets and turn back into the room. And I assume everyone goes to sleep.
Yes.
No.
Eventually.
No? Yeah. Okay.
I did.
I like to stay up quite a bit.
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
My
you can
third
stay.
study.
Okay. And fade to black.
That's how it goes. The morning.
Okay. Rillirn, you continuing to study the rumblings, grumblings, you can hear them. The house very much alive. So you are in that room, what do you do?
I wanted to wait for a while and then go out and find if I can see a bucket. Find a bucket.
You linger there a moment, waiting till finally the house seems to quiet down. Every now and again, you hear the mice beneath the floorboards, the wind outside, the rustling of pine needles out in the forest, wings, and that scraping of paper, parchment as the pages turn. So finally you get up and leave. You look around the house first and see, in fact, there against one of the walls is a bucket.
I'm gonna grab it and fill it with water.
Yeah, you remember there being a well outside, just down the road. This has some in it, but not very much, so you go back. The night all around you, people have finally gone to sleep. It's maybe around midnight. You come back and eye that blood stain there on that floor again, as the shadows from the fireplace make it seem black and ominous. What do you do?
Is there something I scrub with?
Oh yeah, you do find some rags lying about.
Alright. I'm gonna take it and start trying to get the bloodstain out.
You they're scrubbing at the floor, dipping that rag in water again, wringing it. You can tell the water is getting dirtier as you continue to scrub and scrub. Describe how you go about this.
I think I would just be very sad as I scrub this out, thinking of everything and the memories. And I think I'd be emotional about it, semi-emotional about it, as I scrub the blood away.
As you continue scrubbing these floors, the stain is deep. You wring it out again and again. You switch rags. You go, you leave, you empty your bucket outside. You come back with fresh water and go at it again. Exasperated, your breath coming quick out of habit. You scrub and scrub at that stain, and yet it stays as dark as ever. The wood grains begin to peel. They grow furry with the moisture as you scrub harder and harder at the wood. You feel that emotion welling up inside you, and still, you don't think you can fix this.
So I realize that.
You do, eventually, yeah.
I'm gonna throw the rag to the floor and then look around for a piece of paper.
Okay. You do that. After a moment, you hear Rillirn's paper upstairs. You don't find any down with you.
I'm gonna walk up there then.
Rillirn, you hear her footsteps after that kind of sudden thud and that slack of a wet rag being thrown at the floor.
And then
Yes.
I do not belong here. I'm gonna go to the Vistani camp outside the city.
Why there?
I know them. They feel like my people. I was born one anyway, but
Yeah.
there's nothing I can do to fix this or to make anything change with Amadeus. I know he'll never accept me, and I need to go, so I just wanted to tell you, then you know, if you need me, I'll be there, at least for a little bit. Obviously, you are welcome to come.
Have I been able to figure out the spell yet?
No.
No. Okay.
Obviously, you look very busy. You can...
Well, I would be if I could figure this thing out. I can focus hard enough. I just can't get it. The noise from earlier, I feel it's messing with me.
Rillirn, you are one of the smartest wizards I know. I mean, you are only the second, I guess, wizard I know. But you are very intelligent, and I know you'll figure this out. The desperation
I have
to figure this out.
Yes, I have to.
At least get some rest. You're very wounded from today still, and at least get rest. And, you know, you could come there tomorrow.
What is the point?
Of what?
Getting rest, it's a waste of time.
It is. I agree with you. It angers me as well that something so pitiful can, I don't know, hinder us, I guess. But in our cases, we still don't have enough yet to be awake for hours like this. You have to get rest.
No, but I have to use this time. I can't waste it.
You have to be well.
It's the point of being well if I can't?
What is the point of your knowledge if you are not well? Same thing. You cannot use the knowledge if you are weak and unable to. You need to be strong. Weakness is a fault, and you know this. This may be a weakness as of now. To get this rest, maybe we can figure out something that I do not know. You are smart. I'm sure you can figure out some spell someday. But use sleep to your advantage. It'll be much better in the morning. You will just hinder yourself more, staying up all night.
Yes, you're right. I just can't believe it happened still.
I know. Things happen so fast.
I thought I was on the climb. I felt it.
With what?
When I came across Morden Canyon, I was able to stop time there. I moved and everything was still. And then there's Strahd, he gave me these books to read. There's the opportunity. It feels like it's squandered. I'm back where I began.
It is not
Nothing's
squandered.
happened.
Those opportunities came, but you also took a rest, and you still had those opportunities.
Yes, but what if the rest is the reason that I couldn't do it?
That is not it. That is not the case here. Besides, you still have these books. You've only
Yes,
scratched
but
the
what does
surface.
it help Jezebel now? I still can't go back and change it.
Not yet. But you are focusing so minusculely on one thing. I think that is hindering you from expanding and growing. You are so focused on just one little thing, but there's a whole expansion that you could go about. Get stronger, get wiser, find out new spells, but you're so focused on this one little thing. I think that hinders you more. It seems you grow when you do not have something that holds you back. If you have something that holds you back, like this, it hinders you. Does that make sense? I've watched you grow since we've been here. It seems you are at your peak, let's say, when you don't care. You're not letting things like this get to you, and you can feel it. This is holding you back. I think you would be able to figure it out if you just moved forward. It's time to look at the past. It's time to process. If you stay there too long, you'll never go ahead and go forward.
You're not wrong. I hate it, but there's some truth to what you say as well. Maybe that's it. Just stop caring.
Caring in the sense that holds you back. Makes you stagnant. It's still there, but you can still move forward. I hope that helps, but just if you end up leaving as well, would you mind writing what I said on a note?
Gladly.
You know where to find me. And,
Yes.
well,
Yeah.
outside of Milwaukee. And let me know if you want to go to the mountain.
I will.
Thank you. I'll see you soon.
Tell them.
Till then. Walk down. Outside.
Okay. Yeah, you leave.
Inspiration point.
That was pretty good.
That was
And I think actually right here is a good place to pause. Yeah, I gotta pee.
That was so good.